I want to read you a story out of the Gospel of Mark, chapter 1, verse 35. Now in the morning, having risen a long while before daylight, he went out and departed to a solitary place, and there he prayed. And Simeon and those who were with him searched for him. When they found him, they said to him, "Everyone is looking for you." But he said to them, "Let us go into the next towns, that I may preach there also, because for this purpose I have come forth." We see the same thing in John 17:4. Jesus has 100 things on his plate, and he says, "I have completed my work." We see in the story of Lazarus. Jesus has told Lazarus his friend is sick. We need to go. It's urgent, urgent, urgent. And Jesus says, "Oh, okay," because he loved Lazarus, and he waits 2 days before he leaves. I heard someone say yesterday in a prayer meeting, Jesus was never in a rush. I think what this story shows in Mark, and we see it in John 17, and we see it in the story of Lazarus, is, here Jesus has 100 people, so to speak, that need his help. There are 100 sermons left to give. There are 100 places in the town left to go. And yet Jesus, after talking to the Father, says, "No, we're done." And he leaves 100 things left behind. Yet it wasn't what God had for him. It wasn't what the Father had just told him in prayer that needed to be accomplished that day. And so what was Jesus' secret, so to speak? Not that there was one, but you know what I mean. It was that he came to do the will of the Father who sent him. Remember, Jesus said, "I don't do anything on mine. I don't do what I want to do. I do what the will of the Father who sent me. I came to do his will." And that's exactly what's happening in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 1, verse 35. And it's so encouraging to us. Our lives can be so hectic, and partly because we've let the urgent things crowd out the important things. We've let the phone call, the social media, the email fill our days up with all this urgency, and it becomes tyrannical in our lives. It crowds out the important things that God has for us that day. And so we must take stock of how we're spending our time. Slavery is a big issue in Scripture. Slavery to money, slavery to tradition, slavery to appearances. And I would argue one of those is slavery to our schedules. Have we allowed our urgent things to enslave us and crowd out the important things? So we must take stock of what we're spending our time on and make sure that we haven't fallen victim to the urgent things that keep on always will pop up. That it's okay to say no to certain things, even good things. And so what can we do? And that's two quick points. First, perspective. Keep an eternal perspective. Television. Don't watch TV late at night if it comes at the detriment of your prayer life in the morning. Someone may come up to you at work and say, "Hey, can you pick up an extra shift?" And you may really want that money, but you don't need that money more than you need to spend time with your family. And so don't let those urgent things, even though they're good, crowd out all your time. And a second one is pray. We see that in the Gospel of Mark there. Jesus woke up early and prayed, and if Jesus has to wake up and get directives from the Father, how much more do we? I want you to think about morning prayer like halftime during a football game. Whether you're ahead or you're getting slaughtered by the enemy, it's a great season to see what's working well, what's not working well, and how to move forward more effectively. And so Jesus demonstrates that to us. Go before the Father and gather those tools and get your directives on how to move forward effectively. And so progress is possible. Submit your schedule to God and be amazed at all he accomplishes in it and through it. So with that, I love you guys. Thanks for watching.